I've been consistently hitting quota or being part of the top 3 on my team in terms of sales for the last few years. But last year, I actually hit 197% of my quota. And I hit it because I've been using solution engineering principles. Sales is not an easy job. There's a lot of principles, a lot of rules to follow. Like you have to update Salesforce or whatever CRM you're using. There's a lot of things that we need to do to be successful at sales. But I was a solution engineer for a lot longer than I've been in sales. And I was a very good solution engineer. And what I realized is I can be a good salesperson by using solution engineering principles. I don't have to let go of these principles. Those were good principles, and I will continue to use them until I'm done with sales. And now, what are some of these solution engineering principles that you're asking? I'm checking my trusty notes right here. And by the way, welcome to Canada, where it's warm, but there's a lot of snow, at least for today. These are my principles of solution engineering. They're not known principles. Someone else could have said them, but this is how I think of it. Number 1, solve, not sell. I was talking to a gentleman by the name of Rick Burns today on my podcast. And he mentioned when he was in tech, so he's a solution engineer manager. When he was in tech, he didn't want to talk to sales because he thought of them as car salesmen. They're trying to sell me something, not solve my problem. And I find that to be true. Hold on, my wife is calling. You've probably heard the saying, people don't like to be sold, they like to buy. And it's easier for a customer to buy if you actually solve a problem. And we're not necessarily just solving a technical problem. You could solve a technical problem, the competitor can solve a technical problem. But if you can solve a technical and a business problem, the probability of you selling is much higher. John Kerr was on the podcast a long time ago. It's been a while. And he mentioned he was sold, or he bought a solution because the SE for one particular solution kept telling him how much time he's saving and how he's going to get the project that he's meant to get to on track. I'll leave a link to that episode somewhere here. But solve, don't sell. Second one, demo what you have to, not what you want to, not what you feel is cool. When I'm demoing, again, I'm going back to solving the problem. So if I'm demoing something that does not solve a problem that the customer said that they have, then I'm not demoing the right thing. I'm demoing something I think is right for them, but they don't agree. Now, if I think it's right for them, then I have to make sure that they understand why it's right for them. I have to get their agreement before demoing it. Or at least throughout the demo, I have to convince them that it is the right thing to do. Number 3, you don't have to be talking, which is odd because I'm talking on a YouTube video. Sales attracts certain types of people. Generally speaking, extroverts. It's not always the case, generally speaking. Extroverts, people who want to be the life of the party, people who think if they're not talking, they're not doing their job. There are SEs who are like that as well. But by default in their job, SEs have to be quiet. Because if there's a salesperson talking, the SE is not necessarily talking, unless they're trying to tell the salesperson he's saying something that's incorrect. When I went to sales, I realized that I still don't have to be talking. If the customer's talking, they're telling me more information. If I'm talking, I'm sharing less, or I'm sharing information that might not be useful. I was talking to a customer yesterday, and he basically said, well, tell me about X. So I talked for a minute or so, and I paused. He's like, oh, you're checking some boxes for me. I'm like, cool. And then he said, tell me more. I'm like, all right, about what? I mean, I can talk for another half hour. I might check some boxes, I might not. Is there something specific you want me to talk about? So you don't always have to be talking. Shutting up is actually good. Number 4, you have a team behind you. Sales is such a lone wolf kind of job. Right? If you read the Challenger sales, they say lone wolves are not the best kind of salespeople, but most salespeople are lone wolves. They're incentivized to be lone wolf. If I'm a salesperson, which I am, and I'm taking time away from my customers to help your customers, and I'm getting $0 back out of it. Not only that, my performance is going to take a hit because instead of being in front of my customers, I'm being in front of yours. Then you're incentivized not to do that. If my colleague goes on leave tomorrow, and you can look at that within your teams, if you're an SE or you're in sales, if a colleague of yours in sales goes on paternity or maternity on any leave, there isn't another SE or salesperson that takes over his accounts. It's the account director, it's the boss, who then has to go and do the work because they're the ones that are affected the most. But I haven't seen it that way. I've seen it as a salesperson. If I help my fellow salesperson, they're going to help me back. I can collaborate with them. Maybe they won't be in front of my customers all the time, but if I'm an expert in X and their SE is not really good at talking about it, and they ask me to show up, I can show up and make a difference. And guess what? That person's going to help me in the future. Or number 5 is be technical. Salespeople are not known to be technical. Things are changing right now, but being technical just allows me to answer questions faster, answer questions based on the customer's needs. I don't have to wait to go back to talk to my SE so they can answer the question. I don't have to bring in an SE on every meeting, which is almost impossible. And being technical is the basis of the SE's career. And you can't be an SE if you're not technical. These are 5 principles that I use in sales. 5 SE principles that I use in sales. To be fair, there are a lot of sales principles that SEs should be using as well. So here are 5, just to keep it even. Leverage. The great salespeople are masters at leveraging. And we talked about not being teammates, not helping other people, but there are people who have a job which is to help sales. For example, specialists, product managers, their job is to make sure that the salesperson closes the deal. The problem is, when I talk to SEs, if there's something they just work throughout the night to learn something, and then they don't do it as well as that person who already knows. Leveraging support, leveraging other SEs. For example, if I'm an expert in product X, but I'm going to talk to a customer about product Y, hopefully I can talk to the SE that knows product Y. Maybe he'll jump on the call, maybe he'll just tell me what I need to ask first. Number 2, it's okay to bother people. When I first started as an SE, and I see many SEs do this as well right now, I didn't want to email someone for an update or anything because I didn't want to bother them. Now, I understand the customer's job is not to update me. The customer's job is to do business or to do whatever they need to do. But when I start working with my customers, I enter into a contract. And I tell them, I'm going to do whatever I can to support you, to help you with making that decision. And I expect updates in return, even if it's an unfavorable update. If I email you and you don't have a decision, you said you're going to make a decision by this week, and you're not going to make, and you find out that you can't make a decision, if your update is F off, I'm fine with that, as long as you respond to me. And as SEs, we can build that relationship with our champions, with our customers, whatever level we're working on. To have a contract, I'm going to do a proof of concept with you. I'm going to spend some time on site. I'm going to help you deploy. If I ask a question about, hey, how are things going? I'm expecting an answer. If I need to go have a chat or have lunch with you, we can do that. We should be able to do that. If you're not emailing someone because you're worried about you're emailing them every 2 hours, okay, that's fair. You don't email them every 2 hours. But if you say, I'm going to email you by this day to get an update, you're allowed to email them by that day. And if they don't answer, you can email them a couple of days later. You can call them, whatever it is. Number 3, it's okay if you don't know something. And let's face it, most salespeople don't know a lot. I know I'm joking, or maybe not. I'll leave that for you to decide. You be the judge. But they know the highlights. They know the problems that we're solving. They know the basics. They can have brief conversations, enough to warrant interest so that they can, or you can come in as an SE. They're okay with that. As SEs, we have a hard time with it. We want to know everything about everything before jumping into a meeting. Oh, my customer was talking about LTE, but my focus is MPLS. I'm going to have to go studied an entire book about LTE so I can come and answer all their questions. You're not going to be able to answer all their questions. That's why most companies have specialists behind them. And even if you don't have specialists, if it's a simple product, you might not know everything. It's okay to come back. Now, not every answer should be, I'll come back to you, but you can say that. Number 4, learning about the business. Now, our business, their business, the customer's business. As sales engineers, if we're talking to a customer and they're asking us about a product, we need to step back and understand why they're talking about it. What is it that they're trying to solve? What are their business issues that they're facing here? And that's something salespeople do a lot better than SEs. SEs focus on answering questions and or talking about licenses and users and stuff like that. Number 5, don't give without getting. I'm not sure which rule of negotiation this is, but I'm pretty sure it's up there. I know it sounds selfish. Sometimes we just want to help people, and you can. But when you're in the middle of a sales cycle and the customer is asking you to do something for them, you can and you should ask for something in return. And it doesn't have to be big. I gave an example last week about my manager or my salesperson asking me to go upgrade the chassis for a customer. And when I went on site, they just told me where the chassis is in the lab. And I was there on my own for the hour or two upgrading the chassis. What I should have done was say, and this is what I did later, saying like, hey, I'm happy to go upgrade the chassis on condition that I can show you what I'm doing. That gives me it provides 2 positives for me. 1, I get to build a relationship. And 2, I get to teach them how to use the product or upgrade it so that I don't have to go and do it again. So that's asking for something in return. Or it could be like, yeah, I'm happy to come and upgrade the chassis on condition you go out to lunch with me after. Haha. Yeah. Like, you can always make it funny. It doesn't have to be a strict ask, but you have to ask for something. This is what I wanted to talk about today. I didn't have a long time for a big production because I'm busy. So hopefully this video is good enough. If you want to check out how SE teams can work better with sales teams, check out the video that I'm linking somewhere here. I'm a bad YouTuber. Anyways, that's all I got. Get back to work. Peace.